What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's show. If any of y'all hopped on yesterday, you know I have a near and dear guest tonight. Got my nephew, Alex Swetnam, on here. What's up, brother?
What's up, dude?
How are you, man? You doing all right?
Yeah, man.
I haven't actually seen you in a little while.
Yeah, is this the first time you see me with my haircut?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, you put such a fancy picture out there for us yesterday. I mean,
Yeah, it was a long hair picture. I haven't taken any with short hair. I had the Jesus cut before. I was like
Yeah.
the Walmart Jesus. That was my nickname.
Walmart Jesus. Why does that not surprise me? This is what kind of show you guys are in for tonight. So, a little bit of background here. We're going to let Alex tell a story tonight. But my nephew here has been super involved in social media, video, influencers, creator, stuff, music. I mean, everything. Like, I've only known Alex, my nephew. He's 22 now?
21,
almost 22.
soon,
Yeah, I was going to say it's coming up. So we've known each other for about 4.5, 5 years now, I think.
Yeah, too long, honestly.
Yeah, almost too long. Almost. Past that comfort zone now. So, yeah, Alex, as you guys know, is my older brother's middle child. He's the middle one. Mm-hmm. Alex has always taken on, like, the craziest projects. Reminds me so much of myself when I was his age, but
Prettier.
yeah, and a bigger pain in the ass. But we won't get into all that. But Alex is, I'm super proud of what he's done. He's created something called the Creators Factory. And why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your background, how you started out, and like how this evolved?
Yeah. Okay, so what is the Creators Factory? Best way to explain it is we do two things. The first one being teaching people how to do social media full time, and then the other one being, the second one being that we manage people who are already full time. So when you see an influencer with 300,000 followers or 1 million followers get like a sponsorship or brand deal, that's what we do is we'll help them get the sponsorship, and then helping people grow to be able to get to that point. So how did it happen? How far back do I go? I'm not gonna go too far. I dropped out of high school, I think junior year, because I started with drop shipping, which is just online business, and was successful with that, and decided I wanted to not do school because like you weren't gonna learn how to do that through college, like any college course. So just decided I was gonna like learn it through books, learn it through YouTube and mentors and experience, really just learning it by failing and trying over again. So just like put me on the path of business pretty early on. Focused on growth, so sales, marketing, branding, not so much on product side, and just seeing that social media is being really one of the best ways to grow. I like dove into that. Had a girlfriend who, this is about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago. Had a girlfriend who had 30,000 followers on Instagram. I think she had 20,000, and then dated. Like I just like stayed away from any of her social media stuff. I was working a consulting job, and I just didn't want to like combine like relationship with work. So I just kind of like stayed out of her world of social media, and then at some point like I would just give tips and help here and there, and then she finally kind of gave me the go-ahead of like, okay, like if you were gonna grow me, how would you grow me? And so basically she like started taking my advice, and I think and that was past last November, so she grew over a year she grew 20 grand to 30 grand on Instagram. And then when I started working with her, like actually started doing stuff with her, went from 30 grand to, let's see what her Instagram's
I would say it's a lot.
Yeah. It's a lot. So she hit 300 grand like a week ago. So that's like 6 months to get to 300 grand. But now let's look at what she's at.
And this is all organically, like,
yeah, there's no ads, there's no money spent
doing
on
this.
Anything.
Like,
she's at 355K. So she'll hit 400K in like a week. She gets like 8,000 on average, like 6,000 to 8,000 followers a day. So that's
what does she do? Like, what does she promote? Influence, or what is she?
Yeah, so she's like a lifestyle, like a wholesome creator. So it's like just like funny stuff, funny posts, the trends you see on social media. She'll like hop on them and do them. Yeah, I know we're not able to like show an account, but yeah, just like wholesome stuff. Yeah. So she, just like her success story made me go, okay, like I was just applying the business principles and things that I knew to the social media world, and growing her, like it's almost like selling or marketing like a thing, and she's just the product. I'm like, I've sold and marketed things that are much more difficult than like a pretty girl with, that makes good jokes. So I was like, yeah, let me apply my knowledge to this. And so she grew, and now the Creators Factory is like taking all that information, the knowledge, how we grew her, and putting it into a course teaching other people how. And then the management side. So we'll get her deals and stuff, and I'm like, well, we can get more creators deals. So
yeah, so basically what he's done in a recap here just shortly is he's created a master class out of this, basically, that he's developed this really badass webpage. You guys should go check it out. Sign up if that's something you're interested in, because he does this coaching, he does this mentoring. He's always been selling or marketing something, like always. Like, this kid can sell ice to a damn Eskimo. I'm not kidding when I say that. Like, he's always trying to get away with something, sell something in one way or another. Like,
yeah, that's pretty true.
yeah. I'm not going to tell the story about when you put glow-in-the-dark rocks in your parents' yard while they were on vacation and I was in charge of watching you. But
why not?
Yeah. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe
I'm
we'll
sure
get there.
We'll have some fun stories pop up.
Yeah. But uncle and nephew relationship. It'll be 101 on that for sure. But yeah, I mean, he's taken Hannah. I guess I can say that. There's no reason to not say who it is.
Yeah.
Hannah, like he said, she had a good following. I mean, that's a hell of a following, having 20, 30,000 people. Mm-hmm. But he's taken that in like less than 6 months and gotten her 10 times that, and rapidly growing it. He's gotten her endorsements from like Manscaped, major companies. Yeah. That these. I'm gonna call them kids, but they're young adults. Like, they go out and do this stuff all the time and this is all like hardcore cold calling, guerrilla sales. Mm-hmm. He's taken all that stuff, but then through trial and error, he's created this course that, I'm impressed. Like, I'm gonna check it out. Hopefully he's gonna give me the free pass login. Yeah. And it helped me get some sponsors on here too. So,
Aunt Pam just messaged me. She's like, you guys look great.
Yeah. Your family texts are going to blow up. That's why we have to have them on silence, because they're going to do this the whole time. They'll all be logged on today. Yeah. Sarah's on here saying hello. Your dad's on here. So, Sarah's already bringing up when you guys posted Noted My Raptor.
I wasn't going to bring it up so soon, Sarah, but I guess
Sarah put it out there for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the program, or like masterclass course, whatever you want to call it. It's just being able to shortcut you there so you don't have to go through the same mistakes. I think we're going to put out for $200, but it's like, if $200 saves you a day, is it worth it? A month, is it worth it? 6 months, So, yeah, I could spend $200 and accelerate whatever I'm doing by 2x, 3x. Like, I would definitely do it. So that's why it's that, like, I don't know, there's other courses out there like thousands of dollars, like, yeah. And they cover like a bit of what we cover.
It is called an investment.
Yeah.
Yes. It's pure and simple.
And he's spent, I can't even tell you how many countless hours figuring this stuff out and messing with this stuff. Like I said, like, he has gone down so many different avenues to figure this out. This kid has green screens and sends me the craziest videos and GIFs. They're like, I've always had an appreciation for it though, because it's so artistic, and it's you. It's through and through you, your roommates, your buddies. Yeah. You guys have always been creating stuff and selling stuff, and I admire it. You guys putting yourself out there and doing it. Are you ever going to do your own?
Yeah. So actually, part of the program now that it's. We're putting it out, is documenting the journey of multiple creators through it. So I've actually got some creators who are like small, but I really believe in, because I can just see like their passion for it, their drive for it. Because that's the biggest thing, is just actually like committing to it. So I've seen some people, I kind of spotted them, like, okay, we're going to put you through this program, we're going to put you through it for free, we're going to coach you for free, which would usually be thousands of dollars, but we're going to document this journey. So the next 6 months, every call we have, we're going to record it. And then I myself also am going to like go through my own program and video, like, this is me doing this, like this workshop in the course, this is me doing the, the notes I took on this video, and here's how I discovered my brand, and then actually like fulfilling it. Because I feel like that itself is like such an awesome marketing tool. So
yeah, absolutely. I mean, you and I have sat down and had dinner together, and I mean, you've told me a lot of this stuff about my show. Like, you've kind of blown my mind before, and it's like, it's the stuff you and I biz sit and talk about, and like, we're talking about implementing X, Y, and Z and staging it out for whether it's the common sense portion or the music portion that's coming up soon. We've sat and had all these strategic meetings, and, sat with Brandon, and then I go have dinner with my 21-year-old nephew, and he's like, yo, bro, you need to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, really? Like, yeah. He's like, yeah, you need to, define your brand, define this, define that. And I'm like, how do you just have all this, like, already figured out? Like,
spent years on it.
But he has, like, I mean, he's literally dove into this stuff. So,
but you said one thing that I've struggled with, and it's the dedication to it. As a creative myself, I know how to create. Mm-hmm. I just don't know the business of creation. Yeah.
So this
to that level.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's really like the biggest thing one of the biggest things that's driven me is because like I use this kind of analogy or story metaphor. I don't know. I failed English. It's like
you can speak it.
Yeah.
Shit, you're good.
You're like a creative. So you have like, you imagine like you're like Michael Jackson, but the thing is, you're Michael Jackson in a garage in some no-name neighborhood in California. So like, you're this amazing artist, you're this amazing creative, but you're on the side of a street in like a neighborhood that nobody knows about. You're with your bandmates in a garage. Like, the only person that hears you is the person walking by walking their dog, and they don't even like your kind of music. So you're Michael Jackson, like, you're incredible, but you're stuck in this garage. So there's these people who are like so amazing, Michael freaking Jackson, but they don't know, oh, I have to get onto the street. I've got to get out onto like a main street. I've got to get like, let me put myself on a platform. If I have louder speakers, more people will hear my music. If I wear like more flamboyant clothes, more people will grab attention to me. Like if I go on a billboard. So, but it breaks my heart to see all the Michael Jacksons that just don't understand the business side of getting more exposure, of how to wrap people in to grab their attention. So that's what's driven me, is because I have so many people that, like, not that I know, but that, like, you just see so many people have this passion for something. They want to be a writer, they want to be an artist, they want to be a photographer, a poet, a musician, and then they fall off because they're fighting, have the dedication, but they don't have the business side of it.
So let me ask you this. Is there COVID made everybody discover their inner creative and online and business and all that, but I know it is important to have a niche. You have to have your lane. Do you feel that the whole thing is just oversaturated, period, or there's always room if you have the drive to push yourself, cream rises to the top? So if there is 1 million photographers taking pictures of low angle upward buildings with pretty sunsets, and you just love that and you do that, how do you separate yourself from the other 10 million people that are doing that? And I'm not saying give away course secrets, but I'm just talking about along the line. If I'm a portrait photographer, which I am, but you know what I'm saying? How do you then survive in the ocean and actually find your sunshine, your path, your $30,000 a month or whatever it may be?
Yeah, so I actually just shot a free training like YouTube video on this, but I try to like shortcut it. There's basically 3 types of creators. You have information creators. Okay, you follow these creators for information. They're teaching you business, they're teaching you advice, whatever. You don't really follow them because you like their personality. You follow them for the information. Then there's entertainment creators. These are the people that you follow just for, they're funny. They're entertaining, their videos are just crazy. And then you have connection creators. And these are creators that you follow because you like them. That's the only reason. They can be talking about like goats playing golf. You don't care, you just like the person, right? They can be talking about whatever it is. But because you have a connection with that creator, they're able to post about whatever. So finding your niche or finding your thing, I always tell people that focusing on being a connection creator is the most important part, because there's always going to be someone more entertaining than you. There's always going to be someone with more value to give than you, more information to give than you. But it's not like I'm going to ditch a friend because like, oh, I found a better friend now. It's like you're friends with someone. Like it's a yeah, you're really looking to, like, people will try to find a niche. Like, I'm gonna take pictures, I'm gonna take this kind of picture, I'm gonna do this kind of thing. But when your niche is connection, when your niche is relationship with people, then it doesn't matter so much what you post, because they're there for you. Like, I'm following you because I like you. And I like all the other stuff you do, but at the core of it, I just like you as a person. So, yeah, that's like the best answer to give to that. So
it makes sense.
No, it makes sense that
totally
you gotta find your lane within those creator types, and then focus your work on making those connections, whether it's multiple, but at the base of it, you think the connection part is the biggest part, like, so that they like
because
you.
if like, for instance, if this podcast was just entirely about information, there's someone else out there that's able to give better information.
Right.
There is. If this podcast was just entertainment, Logan Paul is just more entertaining.
Right.
But you have connection with
Said I'm
people.
not entertaining. Did y'all hear that? He's sliding them in already.
But connection wise, like, you
Yeah.
have people that love you, and when you are able to make connection is purposeful, like, it's a skill that you build. And so when you're able to connect with someone across the camera and you find your type of person to connect with, then, you know, you're going to give information like
Yeah.
you do here. You're going to be entertaining like you do here. But at the core of it is connection. So,
Right.
Yeah.
By the way, just because your mom's on here now too, so I mean, your mom wants to let everybody know you did not fail English because you're not good at English. You failed it intentionally.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. And Jared wanted you to talk about Mr. Aruba. If you tell that story, I swear to God, I will kill you.
But
Yeah. That was classic. My first encounter with my nephews. Oh, let's see. You're already getting a lot of questions on here and getting kind of blown up on here. So, all right. So, connection on creators. So, what's the biggest mistake you see people make? Whether, and maybe it has to be more specific, because you deal mainly with creators, but I don't know how much that breaks down into like musicians, photographers, podcasters. Are you focusing within that, or are you trying to keep it real broad right now?
Yeah, keep it broad. So, I guess my niche would be people who want to do social media full time. So,
right. So that could be a brand ambassador. That could be a
it
podcaster.
could be a musician, it could be an artist, could be those people, like, they want to do like music, but the music is coming, like, it's happening through social media. They eventually want to do YouTube. They want to share things like their life. So
They want to get found.
Yeah. But people who use social media for business specifically, like, I want to sell my product. I want to sell my whatever. Like, the Creators Factory isn't built for that. Like, do I know things about that? Like, is that what I do? Yeah, like, I'm selling a product here. But but I focus with creators who just want to do social media. It's usually YouTube or like Twitch full time, but also creatives that are like musicians and such. Biggest mistake.
That the average person makes.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that they spend the most time on that they shouldn't, or?
Yeah, there's a couple things that come to mind, but I think the biggest one is not realizing that they have to play the game of social media. So, like, trends are trends for a reason. So many, especially like musicians and artists and people that are really like in love with their own creativity or in love with their own art, they won't play the game. Like, they will go like, no, I'm gonna stay original to me. I'm never gonna do a trend. Like, that's just so not who I am. And okay, well, if you're not playing the game, then the game is not gonna like reward you. And so you have to use trends. You have to use those things, but you have to do it in a way that's authentic to you. In no way should you be fake. So you have to find a way to make both work. You have to play the game and remain like original to you. That's a big thing I see with like musicians and very creative people. Other than that, it's just people who kind of treat it like, oh, if I post enough and I keep going, like, it'll work. And it's like, no, like, you're actually going to need to like invest in yourself and your education and things like that. So just like not putting enough into it, I would say.
I fell in that category for the record. He was telling me how I needed to do all that stuff. So we're working on that. We're trying to tap into that a little bit. I mean, but
really
like
difficult.
you've done this with musicians, all kinds of stuff. Because I mean, I remember when you guys were staying in the old house that Posty Malone was, recording in and stuff like that, and you were running around with musicians all over the place. I mean, you guys were in Colorado recording, and I mean, you've traveled all over and done a lot of cool things. Like,
yeah, it's usually that musicians and those are too focused like on the music, and they aren't focused enough on the business. Like, it's not the music industry so much as it is the music business. So yeah, I'm just playing the game and realizing like if I want to be seen, then I'm gonna need to do the business side of things, the marketing side of things. So
are you gonna bring musicians up in this program as well?
Yeah, we've there's 2 people who are coming through the program. So the future of the program is to be able to do like the full-time creator program is what it's called. But eventually want to do like a streamer expansion pack, a musician expansion pack, a artist expansion pack, a writer expansion pack. I'm calling it expansion pack, but it's essentially like, here's the fundamentals. Here's what it takes. Now, you as a musician are going to do some things a little bit different than an artist or a streamer or just a YouTuber would do. So, we're bringing those people up through the program so that way as we get into the fine-tuning of things with them and their uniqueness as a musician, we're able to build that into like a furthering of the product. But yeah.
What's the number one thing people don't do enough of?
I think looking into the future and just realizing like, it's just very, especially with our just society, our culture, like we're so short-term visioned. Like we're looking at like, how do I get 500,000 followers this month? How do I get 500,000 followers this year? Instead of looking at, okay, I want to do this with my life. What am I willing to sacrifice? What am I actually like, if I really want to do this, this is my 5-year goal. This is my 10-year goal. Like those words just don't even come out of like most people's mouths. They're just looking at like,
instant gratification.
The instant. And then what happens when you have such a short timeline is that you see like this timeline and then you see a hit here and it's like a drop. It's like, dang, that sucked, dang, that sucked, dang, that sucked, dang, that sucked. And you're looking at it, it's like, dang, this has sucked so much because it's like this much of my entire timeline. But when you look at a timeline that's like bigger than this room and you look at like a small piece, it's like, yeah, no duh. Like this part is gonna like look like it's bad and it's eventually gonna come up. When they have a timeline that's this short, like 3 months, like, you should not be expecting in 3 months to be up here. Like, you should be expecting to be, like, still somewhere where you're still trying to figure things out. So
yeah, and a steady growth.
Yeah, that discouragement and that, like, the discouragement, like, gets to so many people. And they're like, dang, like, I thought this was going to be easy. Like, I want to be doing it, you know? So, yeah, that's the biggest
Because everybody sees the instant gratification of just seeing the successful part. They don't see all the work that goes into building it and growing it over a time period.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Beast, I was watching a video. He's biggest YouTuber. He was talking about how 1,000 days straight, he and 4 other guys like Carl and the other people in his on his YouTube, like the main people, they got together for hours and hours every day and talked about how like this is what we want to do. So they went ahead and put the goal of like 1,000 days we're going to talk. Like it wasn't like we're going to talk for the next 3 months about how we're going to do this. It was like 1,000 days we're talking every single day about how to how to grow, how to go viral, how does YouTube work. And he said they talked every single day on Skype. And some days he'd get on at 7 a.m., get off at 10 p.m. and wake up the next day and do it. Like if he had off work, they're all on that Skype call, like just breaking stuff down together. And so there's the people like that who like maybe they're not as naturally gifted or naturally talented. Like I wouldn't say that Mr. Beast and those were naturally gifted, naturally talented. They came at it through like brute force and
tenacity.
just like tenacity, just learning. Like they didn't have the amazing, like a musician, the amazing voice or the artist, like the amazing thing. Like they just put the hours and they put the work in. But yeah, for the people who are like amazing musicians or whatever, just naturally the amazing voice, and they get on social media and they realize like business isn't going to happen by luck. And not enough people treat it like business. So
how are you What transition point is it where you take them from one program to the other? Like, is there a number? Like, is there a goal? Like, when you hit this, we start transitioning you over into the other program.
Yeah. So the way the program is structured is there's what we call the volunteer stage, and this is when you're doing social media like a volunteer. You're doing it because you enjoy it, because you love it. Because that's the first part. If you don't enjoy it, you love it. Like, you should stop doing it. Like, what's the point? Right? Like, go do something you're gonna love. This isn't it. Like, cool. So there's a volunteer stage, and you're doing it because you love it. You're not making any money from it. Okay. And then the part-time stage, you're doing it, and you are making a little bit of money, but not enough to be full-time. Like, you're still having to work a 9 to 5, because that's usually the hardest part is they don't have the time to do it. And if you're a college kid at home and you got all this free time, like, oh my gosh, like, you're so in the clear to just like create content and learn. But when you're literally having to pay bills and work 9 to 5, it's difficult. So anyways, part-time is that stage where you are doing social media, making a bit of money, but not enough to be full-time. And you got the full-time stage. That's like the goal, right? Yeah. You're full-time. This is all you do. This is your job. This is what you love. And you don't have to work another job. You don't have to work another source of income. And then we actually put a 4th stage. We tell people, like, this is the above and beyond. This is like the Mr. Beast. Not everyone wants to do that. People don't want to put in the like crazy amount of time. So we shoot to get people to full-time. But the 4th stage is being a why notter. This is someone who's able to, like, hey, bro, you want to go jump out of a plane and then crash 2 planes together and then, like, make it rain confetti and, like, $1 million from the sky and make a YouTube video? Yeah, bro, why not? Like, it's a why notter. Like, you can just say why not, because it's not so much about it's like you have to be a why notter. It's the information. So it's not like a level of money, like $20,000 a month and you're a why notter now. It's not like that. It's the information, it's the skills, the education you have. Because I can give you like $1 million and the best like cameras, the best audio equipment, like a huge budget, and you're not going to make a better movie than Quentin Tarantino with a handy cam and $10,000. Why? Because he's a why notter. It's his education, it's his skills, it's his knowledge, not the amount of money he has. So, yeah, so that's like the program. So it's not like someone reaches a certain point and they move on to the next program. It's like, here's the base. Here's like the foundation here. And then, okay, if you're going to be a musician, this is the path to take here. This is like the expansion pack. Yeah. If you're going to be a poet or a writer, this is the expansion pack here. So...
See what I mean, Biz?
Well, I hope. Now, first of all, you ain't getting out of here after we leave because we're going to sit down and have a conversation. I'm signing up as soon as you leave. But, Donna, I hope that answered your question, because if you look at the last comment, Donna was hitting it on the head. It's like a lot of creatives don't have money. They can't do this. They got to live. How can you even take the time out to try to create your path, your wealth, your purpose, or whatever, if you got to live? But you just kind of broke it down before I had a chance to bring it up. So, Don, I hope those stages kind of answer your question. And you see, he really has this thing broken down in the stages because, yes, we still got to pay rent. We still have to pay bills, light bills, and all that as we do this. So the volunteer side is basically managing your time to do this passion as it builds. It's like from the entrepreneur mindset, you know, you work your part-time until it equates your full-time, and then you can finally let that full-time go if you're in that position. But you still have to diligently work for it if that's what you want.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as doing the podcast. I mean, it's not like it's not yours nor my day job. You know, neither of us see
I'll
this.
say it. And Garrett is funding this whole darn thing. This is him. Now, we got some sweat equity over here, but he's the one that's making this happen because it is his passion, you know, for now. But when you do that sacrifice and you make sure everything is going for what it is, and I say personally, you have grown, Garrett, because when we first started the first 3 episodes, I won't call him train records. He's going to call it a train wreck because he's critical of himself. But the learning, the knowing, I know because I was a program director in radio for years, so I knew how to look at talent, how to make sure that when you take a break in the radio, how to get to the point, how to say one thing, how to do it so you can keep an audience engaged. And I'm just watching Garrett grow into it to where now this is like breathing to him. You know, it's not.
I think back at the whole prep and stuff that I used to do, and that
What was your prep? Like, what'd you do?
Man, I mean, like when we first started out, I mean, I was fortunate that I had connections to really big names. So, I mean, like I had NFL athletes. So, I mean, these guys have been interviewed thousands of times by like big name reporters, you know, ESPN, CNN, Fox, you know, you name it. They've been interviewed by people that I shouldn't even be having this opportunity to interview them. And yet these were some of my first interviews or first sit downs.
So
And
you came in like, so you play in the NFL?
it wasn't as much like that as it was.
It was more of he had the guy's whole autobiography right there, so he can try to play it back and do this. And then as it grew, it just became a conversation versus an interview.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is it went from me doing so much research and preparing questions and having this like over here. This really the first time when I gave Biz a mic was like I needed somebody to watch what was being commented
So you could look at those
so that I could stay engaged, but also not just so I could stay engaged because I had questions over here of like how I had the show really scripted out of like, let's go through this segment. I'm going to bring this up, see where this goes, but I can come back to here. And I spent hours doing that stuff each week for one show, and I had it all scripted out of like where I wanted it to go. And then I would say and and all
I'm
these
so bad at that.
filler words and stuff that you just use when a pause or silence is okay. Like, we can sit here for a second. Like,
Don't look at me like that.
it's all good. Like, it just... But I'm saying, like, to be able to feel comfortable doing that and just let things be and naturally just let conversation go, to me, that's where I feel like I made the most improvements, especially at season 1. Season 1, it was, even though I didn't want it to be an interview, I was making it an interview. Versus where I just wanted a conversation where we're sitting down, sharing a cigar, having some pours, telling a story, sitting here, having a conversation like we would here in the lounge. That was my goal, but it was really like an interview for, pretty much all of season 1. But I think each show got better and better, and you see that in the ratings and the view times and everything else. But that's a hard thing to learn, and some of it you just have to learn doing it.
Yeah.
Like you said, you have to just do it, and not do it because you enjoy doing it, do it because you like doing it, because some of it's going to suck. Like, not every piece of content you put out there is going to be good.
Most aren't.
Not every live video, especially if you're doing live stuff. That's really hard to do and to grow in and not be too critical of yourself and to grow in, because there is no going back and editing. You can, and then you could put it out on other platforms and just show the best of that, which we probably should have done a little more of, and we're going to do stuff now. We learned some stuff earlier in our meetings today that I'm super excited for, using ChatGPT and some other extensions that are, I'm mind blown. Like, you're like, yeah, I told you about that 3 months ago. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah.
It's crazy. ChatGPT is nuts.
Dude, it's nuts. We found one today where I can literally, what you and I are talking about on having somebody paid to go and take timestamps and chop up and edit videos. Dude, there's an extension now already in the chat. You probably already know this, where I can literally take my YouTube video, put it in there in 30 seconds. It cuts everything. Breaks it down, insights, summaries, like puts timestamps next to them, so I can be like, Alex said this, and like it'd be like, it'd give me a little insight and be like, oh yeah, I remember when he said that. Like, we want to pull that 2-minute little clip right there. Like, now we can do that easily without crazy production times. Like, a lot of these things, and that's what you're talking about, like with your courses, learning these things. We're 2 seasons in now, and we're just now figuring some of this stuff out. So, like, how much more can be gained if you spent $200 and did your course, to where you cut those things down? Because sit and listen to yourself talk for 2 hours. Do you know how brutal that is?
Yes.
Like, listening to your own voice for 2 hours and trying to take notes and timestamps, and you're going back and forth, and then I got to send it to Biz, and then he's got to go back, and then he's got to listen to it, and then he's got to make these cuts. Like,
it's not fun.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
Like, you really have to enjoy that part of it, or you're really screwing yourself, because if you don't do that, you're kind of up shit's creek. Like
Yeah.
it's a part of it. You have to find a way to do that one way or another, whether it's paying somebody to do it, doing it yourself, making the time. And like we were talking about a minute ago, when you're starting this stuff out, it's not your day job. I mean, some people are fortunate enough it is, but most 99.9% aren't. You're doing this in your spare time, building it up, hoping so that it can be something, and paying for it.
Yeah.
Like, none of this shit is cheap or free. Like, even if you do it completely on your own, like, even if I didn't have biz, the initial investment to start out at this level and have all of this equipment, you know, like, that's a lot. You're talking soundboards, cameras,
And these are
laptops,
like almost $600 each. Just
microphones,
the microphones.
cords, stands, a space to record in, lighting. I mean, there's just so much to go into it
Yeah,
that
my
I
ass
think
is homeless now after I bought all this stuff.
homeless. Listen to this guy. But I mean, you a lot of people don't tell you the thing. I think a lot of people jump into it and they're like, "Oh, I can do this," but then they start realizing, like, "Wow, I shouldn't have spent this money. I could have spent this much money better." So, I'm sure from digging through your website a little bit, that's part of his courses. He talks about the equipment you need. Don't buy this, buy that. You only need this equipment. Don't start out here. You don't have to be Michael Jordan or Joe Rogan out the gate. You know, you can start down here, and if you do these things, you can put your timeline out like this and watch it.
Good content has nothing to do with the camera.
Yeah.
When I
I
first
was just about
started,
to say that. You can start with a phone. You can start
anything. I mean, phones are actually made now. There's a guy, you know, I shoot a wedding. It's going to cost you $8,000 for me to come shoot your wedding. That's just facts. There's a guy right now that's charging $1,500. He shoots your entire wedding on an iPhone 14. And when I say everything looks amazing, it looks amazing. It's the tool. It's the person that uses
iPhone
it.
14, you shoot your whole wedding.
Yeah, literally.
How many women, I want to know how many women are actually going to agree to that when they see this guy?
Somebody that's budget conscious, maybe. And then if they see his portfolio and his work, I'm telling you, okay, what's the other thing that I do? I DJ.
Yeah.
So do I need to go old school and bring, you say I have no faith in you if you don't show up with two 1200 Technique turntables and 37 crates of records? Or if I show up with my controller in my backpack, I'm still going to slay this whole building and rock the party regardless. A tool is a tool.
You got to have 808s, Biz.
You know what an 808 is?
Yeah, I know. I'm just
Okay,
kidding.
I'm just about to say, like, that's a drum machine. Like, people do that too, though. But it's now in the day and age of the tool that you use. A good photo is the composition, it's the lighting, and it's the clarity. And if you can do that with the iPhone, you can do it. People shoot movies on iPhones. It doesn't matter that if you're judging a person by the equipment that they use and not the results that they get, that's where we get a little bit convoluted.
Yeah.
Don't be scared just because these microphones, yes, they're like $600 microphones. That's only because I really wanted a chance at having the best quality, but you can still get amazing quality from a $35 Bluetooth microphone if you're in the right environment. It's all about what you do with the tool and not just the tool. Now, granted, if you have a Hyundai that's a 3-cylinder versus a Lambo that's a 12-cylinder, there may be some different results. But I know people that can probably get that Hyundai around the track faster than I could in that Lamborghini if I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
It's how you're taught to use it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was watching some, so I was convinced I needed a really good camera in order to shoot video content. Like, I'm just one of those people. I was like, I need that. And so I went and got, I was actually gifted a really expensive camera from Hannah, and she, so I got this, like, incredible camera, like, great. Like, now I'm going to be able to shoot, like, great stuff. And then for some reason, like, my algorithm on Instagram and such starts showing me these videos, and the entire premise of the video is I shot on 3 different cameras. I shot on my iPhone, I shot on a $500 camera, and I shot on a $5,000 camera. Tell me which one is from which camera. And I'm watching this footage, and I'm like, I can't tell.
Exactly.
I can't tell the difference between a $500 camera and the $5,000 camera. And then it went even further. There's another video I watched that it showed like a 30-second like sequence of like shots and B-roll and stuff, and it showed 4K, and it showed 1080p, which was just HD, and it even showed, I think, 720p, right? And I couldn't differentiate. I kid you not. I'm sitting there like looking at my monitor, like trying to pixel peek and like really see, and I'm like, that one's got to be 720p, that one's got to be this, and I look at it back, and like I thought the 4K was 720p, and I thought the 720p was 4K, and my monitor is 2K. So I'm like, I could see the difference between 1080p and 4K. I'm just like,
But that's just it. So what I've learned.
Well, you're also probably, if you master using an iPhone camera, but the $5,000 camera this much about, and it has so many functions and stuff that you can't even fully take advantage of, what are you going to be better at?
Yeah.
So you're going to be better at mastering your iPhone camera versus a $5,000 camera that you don't even know how to use 90% of the functions.
Well, here's the difference, and it's very simple. It's what you just said. It's all about the size of the deliverable. So this iPhone, what we're watching this on right now, I guarantee you 90% of everybody's watching this on their phone. Or even a screen that's maybe let's say a laptop. 1080p is going to look super crystal clear, crisp. 4K would give you a little bit more glossiness, but that's about it. The two cameras I got in that bag is made for you to watch on a 70 millimeter IMAX screen if you wanted to. It's all about the size of the deliverable. So if you're making something where your majority of your audience is not going to watch it on the Cinemark Superplex screen and looking at the latitude and the rich colors, and if you ain't John Wick whooping somebody's ass for 2 hours and 37 minutes, that's all you need is the iPhone or something like that, because it's going to look gorgeous and beautiful on something that's the size of at the biggest, maybe an iPad. And it's going to look great. And that's all. That's the main difference.
Yeah.
The bigger, more expensive cameras are made to show. It's like if you take a photo on your iPhone, you can't blow that photo up to be the size of that picture behind you and it look pixelated. My phone, it will. I can put a photo on the side of a building and it'll look gorgeous because of the resolution. If you're not using that, then you don't need to spend all that money.
in social media, like people are watching, like nobody's scrolling through social media on their iPad, nobody's scrolling through on their laptop. Like shooting with your phone is more than enough. Like 100% more than enough. Like it is the composition. Like I would invest in lighting before I'd invest in,
All day.
in a better
All day.
camera.
And light is what
Absolutely.
allows anything that you shoot with to look better. The better it's lit, the better it's going to look.
Yeah.
That is
Absolutely.
that's the nerd portion
Gene,
of
he
our
probably has the
segment
8
today.
tracks you listen to on vinyl, so I mean, he could probably do that for you. I mean, if you want me to get you business numbers so he can DJ your next house party, we can make that happen.
I can bring 8 tracks. That's happening.
That's what I said. That's more Dean's speed. Fonzie.
The awesome thing about social media is like you don't have like the startup cost. Like if you just have an iPhone, like you're good to go. Really, like you don't need a better mic. You don't need you can use like light from Windows. You can use light from
Yeah, I mean, you watch
the
Gary
outside.
Vee. He rocks around with the old school plug-in
The
headphones that came with the old phones. Like, still uses them on his phone.
Yep.
And he records. I don't know. Would you say 80% of his content on his phone
Probably,
with his
yeah.
headphones in? I mean,
And he hasn't
and
lost
Gary
a
Vee's
viewer or a
badass.
subscriber.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, all I know is you take Visa, you take debit card, whatever. I'm signing up as soon as we sign off. I'm in.
There you go. So, what else would you say can make or break somebody as far as really transitioning? Like, all right, use our show as an example. What advice would you give to us on growing the show and getting sponsors and stuff? Like,
Yeah.
what things do you think we could do better
So it's
for
different.
your age group? Because
Yeah.
your demographic is actually like, it's funny. I'll pull it up here real quick just to show you. Not that I have a way of showing everybody else on here, but when you look at like our demographics on here, like, so Apple Podcast hits hard. Like, that's not even live. So we've talked about not even doing the live show anymore. Sorry, all you people that love the live show. We've talked about doing pre-recorded, cutting it down, cutting to an hour. But that 28 to 34 is 30% of our audience. Then the 35 to 44, the old man, my age group, like that hits in here real hard.
The elderly.
Yeah, the elderly. God, he's calling
Hold on,
me
man.
elderly.
I'm older than him.
I know.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah. See what I had to put up with? But yeah, so I mean, when you have those two demographics going, like, how would you capitalize on that? Like,
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is getting more eyeballs on the podcast. As far as getting sponsors, like kind of similar to how I tell creators, like I'll tell them it's it's not like you got, let's say, 10,000 followers. It's not worth like having to hunt and chase someone down and like really convince a sponsor to give you a deal for $200. Well, if you spent all that time just growing, just get to 100,000 followers, they're gonna be walking in the door like handing you $500, right? And it's gonna be time after time. So I think sponsor-wise, like getting bigger, because people will just like, you won't have to hunt or fight or find, like they will come to you. It'll be inbound instead of you trying to cold call outbound. So that's, yeah, for sponsors.
Do you notice YouTube's the hardest, or is it because
for growing?
For growing, like YouTube is the hardest because until you get 100 followers, you can't even have like, like Common Sense the podcast like as a search thing. They've changed that recently, but
really?
Before I had like this algorithm that was like this long. Like my own little brother TJ couldn't find the show.
Yeah.
Like I had to send him a link. Like it was that hard.
Yeah.
Like
it's probably to keep from like bots and stuff,
but
from random accounts.
Show formulations and all that stuff. Like what for podcasts, what do you recommend more? Like what do you think for growing? Because we're on most of the platforms. We are going to make an announcement here soon. I am in talks with Rumble. We are going to be going on to Rumble very soon. Not to freak anybody out, there will be a subscription-based platform. It's going to be 3 tiers. We're still going to have the free stuff. Common Sense will still be free. We'll have the merch. The website will be live. Give me 2 more weeks. It might be done by the end of this week, but I'll say 2 weeks. The website's almost done. We had a good hour and a half meeting this afternoon on that. Merch in the works. I would say the biggest thing is when it goes to subscription based, that's going to apply more to the music portion of it because you're going to have live shows you can watch, and you will also have Q&A with the band or artist. The VIP tier will get you where you can log in live and ask questions. You'll get premium notice before, like the space we're looking at will probably hold, I'm going to say 30 to 40 people comfortably seated, and it's going to be a very small, intimate setting with big names. You'll get the first notice that if you want to come to the show live as a VIP subscriber, you'll be able to get those tickets early. You'll have that option. Then the next tier, you'll get to watch everything and have that access, and you'll get to know about, upcoming events. And then Common Sense and the rest of that'll all still be free content. It'll all be tied together, cross-promoted. So,
dude, I want to come to those live shows.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
There's a couple of them I guarantee you're really going to want to come to. Like, we're working on some really interesting stuff. And I'll announce the name. The name is probably 2 weeks out. I have a meeting Saturday. If everything happens, and between now and the next show, if we get all that squared away, I'll release the name as soon as the domains and all that stuff's purchased, so that none of these weasels can come in here and steal any of that stuff. Because then there'll be some jackwagon that watches this shit and goes out there and hold it hostage and want $50,000 for the namesake or something.
Seen that. Not a fun time.
What's your biggest thing for growing followers? And maybe that's platform based, how you can break that down, because I know you're big on doing Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah, so I put out,
and I stay away from TikTok. I'm not doing TikTok. I'm not doing it.
Here we go.
All right, here we go. Yeah, here we go.
The business.
So here's the business. So I put out this is one of the free videos that I put out, a training video. Here's the concept. There are platforms built for fast growth and platforms built for slow growth. And it's like, Alex, why would anyone want the slow growth? The slow growth platforms, which are YouTube, Twitch, Spotify, what are some other ones?
Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, Apple Podcasts. These long form things there's not much discoverability. Someone's not just going to find your thing. These are slow growth because people can't discover you. You're not getting pushed by the algorithm to new people. So here's the thing about slow growth, though, is that once you have a following, they are very stable, They're great for monetization. They have longevity. You have a deeper connection with your audience. Like someone that watches this podcast is going to have way more connection with you than if they watch 5 Instagram videos. So you have these slow growth platforms. They have their use. They should be used, but the problem is they're hard to start. They're impossible to start on. Then you have fast growth platforms. These are your Instagram, your TikTok, any platform that pushes you, and they're like short form videos. Yeah, Facebook like Reels, those. So there's fast growth. The problem about fast growth is that there's not like a long-term game plan. There's not like the monetization isn't good. Like you'll see creators with 200,000 followers on Instagram who still struggle to make money. 50,000 followers on Instagram who still struggle to make money. It's very different from someone who has 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. So you got these fast growth platforms. You will, you'll grow fast. Bad for stability, bad for longevity, bad for monetization. So I kind of see them as like 2 puzzle pieces, and you just put them together. You grow on the fast growth platform, and then you transition people over to the slow growth platform because you're getting I've got a lot of people showing, like coming to me, like I'm just growing fast, but I'm also need to get that longevity from the slow growth platform and the monetization and those things. So how to grow a podcast? You're not going to grow if you stay on YouTube. You're just not. So how do I grow fast? Like how do I take advantage of the fast growth platforms? You're going to cut down the podcast and you want to do video because just an audio on Instagram and TikTok isn't going to work well. So you want to do a video, cut down the podcast into many like short little clips, and then you're going to post it on Instagram, post it on TikTok. That's how you grow the podcast. But what's the point of the podcast is really largely what it depends on. So if I'm watching a podcast on real estate investment strategies, why are people following that page? They're following it for information. They're an information creator.
Right.
So if they're there for information, there's other ways I can give them information than a 2-hour podcast and 30-second snippet of a 2-hour podcast. So then I'd start doing trends that are like real estate investment jokes. I would start doing, like mini lessons, like you just hold the camera up, like here's the thing I learned today. I would do a story of here was a property I bought and how we flipped it, how much we made from it. Here's mistakes that most real estate investors make. Like you're able to you don't have to do a YouTube video to do that or a podcast to do that. You're able to just grab the camera and do those, script that content out and post it. So then you look at, okay, why do people watch the Common Sense podcast? Okay, whatever that reason is that people are going to watch the podcast. And if that's primarily just the personalities, then you create more personality-based content, more connection content. Hey guys, here's a story of how I met my nephew. And then the awesome story, right? Here's a story of my first job. It's like, why would anyone want to watch that? Because they like you. And it's, you tell jokes, you're getting a little bit of entertainment in there, you can tell a little bit of information, but it depends on what people are there for, and then you just cater more.
So I suppose the Mr. Ruba thing.
God, yeah. I hope it
That's
doesn't
the third
go viral.
time I've seen that because it's in the comments.
That might go viral, right?
It's bad. I'm not going to talk about it.
Hey, man, and Aruba's
that
like,
tells you how bad
that's my
it is.
second home, bro.
It's
so
bad,
what's going
bro.
on?
I gave him
bad.
the opportunity, and see, that's we're growing in this relationship. See, it's growth.
Yeah, you seen
there.
how uneasy he was in his chair when you said it.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you see how red I am now. Like, whoa.
So yeah, fast growth to slow growth platform. That's the way to go. So how to grow the podcast? Getting really down on your branding. So like understanding why do you exist on social media? Like literally, why are you here? Well, I want to give like young entrepreneurs business advice. Well, I want to give my family a place for us all to connect, because maybe it's not meant to grow to millions of followers. Maybe it's just meant to be for like 200 really close people. Like it's like whatever your goal, whatever your intention is, but you have to understand what it is, and then it's like in business, like how do I make a better product for them? How do I better serve these people? How do I better cater to these people? So you see like, so there's. Okay, I don't want to go that direction. I want to go in the direction of let's imagine this is a trap though, because let's imagine a fashion influencer. Okay, someone who just shows a lot of outfits, they show their modeling stuff, but they want to be a YouTuber. They want to be they don't want to be known for the clothes that they wear and how they look in their body. They want to be known for their personality and their funniness and those things. What happens is a lot of people say niche down. So be a fashion person. And so then the creator, the influencer goes, I'm going to just post about fashion stuff, just fashion stuff, that's it. And people follow them for fashion stuff. And then what happens? They decide, well, I want to do vlogging, I want to do personality, I want to do YouTube. And then they start to show their personality and people don't like it. They don't want it. Why? Because they were there for fashion. They weren't there for you. So being sure that, like, this is why you have to understand what your brand is for, like what your brand stands for. So that way you are able to cater towards that and not go like in the wrong direction. So there's that as well.
That's
so,
awesome, man.
Yeah, you don't want to niche down too much. So if you go like, oh, like common sense, we talk a lot about business and we talk about sports and we talk about music. Cool. If you just want to be about those things, then don't expect for people to follow you for you. Expect them to follow for business, music, and the other thing that I said that I don't remember anymore. So you just have to like really know what it is that you're there for and make sure that you don't niche down too much and realize like you're another human being that is like people want connection with you over the screen. So that's why I think, I don't know, just connection is such an important thing. And being a connection like creator is like you're not going to be the best at entertainment. You're not going to be the best at information, but you can be a freaking awesome friend. And that's all it is being a connection creator, is just being a freaking awesome friend. So, yeah.
So who do you think, like, so I have like my goal guests, like top other podcasters I would like to podcast with, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who are your top, like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5
People that I love to talk to?
Yeah, or that you would like to, you know, or that you model yourself after, that you look up to. You know, like I could say Joe Rogan, I could say Aubrey Marcus, I could say Tim Ferriss, I could say Jocko, you know, I could say Sean Ryan. I could, you know, like picking these people that I think, you know, I could say Tom Segura and Bert Kreischer, you know, 2 bears, 1 cave, you know, like.
Have you seen the new movie, The Machine movie?
No, I want to see it though.
Yeah, I want to watch it too.
I want to see it.
Maybe
we'll have to plan that up.
Yeah.
We'll go see that together maybe.
Top people, I would say the people that, like, I don't even know their names of. Like, I know that there's someone, so like, you see Mr. Beast, and he's huge, right? But what you don't see
I think that is the dumbest shit in the world. Like, this
dude
just does stupid shit.
But he's not meant for you.
And then no, it's not. It's not my generation. It's not my thing.
So true,
but like, to realize when you're watching something like that and to see how big of a monstrosity he is, like, that's mind blowing. That just doing those little things, just as much as he's done them, has made him what he is. You know, like Gary Vee, I get it. You know, like, I like Gary Vee. I don't listen to all his shit. I mean, I listen to a lot of it, but I don't listen to all of it. Like, I'm not like, I have to listen to this on my ride to work, you know, whatever. But his key stuff, I'll tune in, you know, like I would say, but like, I understand that. Like, I get that. Like, he went from the wine library and helping us, and he's systematically grown it. I can see the method behind the madness. Mr. Beast, I still can't see the method behind the madness.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, I flushed
Tenacity.
content down the toilet relentlessly.
Yeah.
And like, eventually the shit started sticking.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
I got better. That's what it is. He always spent. I mean, he just committed to like the 1,000 days. Like he there was one video I saw where he said we took the most viral videos on YouTube over the past like few years, and just like the ones with the most views, and then we downloaded the thumbnails, like 500 thumbnails, and thumbnail is like what you see before you click on the YouTube video. It's a thing on the side. And he said they downloaded it and they just analyzed every single one down to like, how bright is this thumbnail? That kind of like tenacity, like he learned how to get people to click a video. Like, it's really this simple. He learned how to get people to click a video. He learned how to keep people watching the video. And YouTube rewarded him for it. Because the algorithm will push when you keep people on their platform, because YouTube makes money from the ads that they show people.
Yeah.
But he just was like, those are the 2 main things. Like, how do we get people to click the video? So you've got the title and the thumbnail. And how do we get people to continue to watch the video? Now, what we see a lot of times is, like, people will do the thumbnail and the title really well. Like, I'm giving $1 million away, blah, blah. And then you get to the video, and it was like clickbait. So people click off, and they don't watch the whole entire thing, or you aren't entertaining. You don't hold people's attention. The story isn't good enough. And so like the viewership goes down and the algorithm doesn't push it. So he just kept after it and like just literally like, yeah, just tons and tons of content. Error, kind of success, error, success, error. Like just it's that like this was bad and then okay we did good here and then just trial and error, just failing until you succeed. The biggest thing about Mr. Beast is his tenacity and that he wasn't naturally talented. Like that's the biggest thing I admire about him. But I'm really interested in like I would love to talk to the people behind the business side of things because yeah he makes money from YouTube stuff. But what people don't see is the like Mr. Beast Feastables, which is like a candy brand. The Mr.
We
Beast,
had one of them burgers. My kids
Mr.
made
Beast
me go get a
burgers.
Mr. Beast burger.
Those were all around the nation, like all around the nation. Like
yeah, I didn't know
the
it
amount
even
of money
existed.
that made. Yeah, the amount of money that made. Like I don't know if that's like public information, but I would bet that money, the money they made from that, is almost like comparable to the money they make from the YouTube stuff.
Yeah.
Like genuinely. So because you imagine like you sell a burger, you sell like candy, like to one person, let's say profits $5-10 per whatever.
All them things are like
$9.
$9.
Yeah, well you look at a YouTube video and then it like per person that watches your video, you're only getting like I don't know what it is. Is it 2 cents or something? So like
I don't know. I don't make any money off social media yet.
YouTube, you get like 1 million views and you'll like 1 million people watch your video and let's say you'll make I actually don't know the numbers. Maybe it's let's say it's just $10,000 because it changes so much. If you have a good audience or a audience, like if you make a finance channel, 1 million views there may be worth $50,000. If you have like a acne popping video or acne popping channel, like it doesn't, your audience doesn't mean much. So the money you make from 1 million views is going to be $3,000. So it's a huge difference there. But the amount of money, let's say Mr. Beast makes from 1 million views is $5,000. Great, but he goes and sells 500 burgers. So 1 million people watch this video, he made $5,000. You go sell 1,000 burgers, you make $9,000, right? So it's like the amount of money they make from this other stuff, from the candy, from the chocolate, from the burgers, from all the other stuff they do. Like I want to know who's behind that, because to be able to run like a national chain, like how did they make that happen? How did they just like snap and like boom, we've got chocolates going, we have drinks going, like that would be someone I'd love to talk to, is who's able to like turn that or like manage all of that. Not so much for the like how do they grow it? Like Mr. Beast already grew, but how do you manage so many different things? Like it's an entire organization.
He's got to have a board. There's no way that it's just him. He's got to have a board or a subsidiary or something.
He bought a whole entire neighborhood for his staff members. I'm not kidding. Like he bought
smart.
I don't know if it's 20 houses or 50 houses, but he bought a whole entire neighborhood
to run his business, basically.
Just to have people close, so they don't have to drive 30 minutes to come. And they're like, here's your house, and they don't have to pay rent. Like he's paying rent. Like he literally bought the houses, and he's like, here's your place, and he's just so like it's crazy,
that's next
dude.
level,
It's off the chain. Yeah, that's that other level.
That's
That's that wine otter level.
Joe Rogan ain't even doing that.
Nah.
No.
Mr.
Joe
Beast.
Rogan is getting high talking to Post Malone for 8 hours about aliens. That's about it.
Yeah, but you still listen.
I did. I was there for the whole 8 hours too.
I know.
But damn.
I still haven't
That's 8
listened to all
hours I
of
can't
it.
get back, but damn.
Did you see were you the one that sent me the Post Malone and Nirvana thing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that thing was crazy. I love that.
That's one of my, for the music part, like that's one of my goals. Like
Post?
Yeah.
Get posty?
Fuck yeah. I mean, Post. I mean, because he's already kind of done it. You know what I mean? Like during COVID, he got with like Dave Navarro and some other cool dudes, and they got in the like, when Kurt Cobain was all whacked out on heroin and got in dresses, and the guys all got whacked out and like just jammed, like, and they just did it. And he sat there and drank Bud Light and cigarettes and did what Post does, and like played Nirvana shit for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know. It was crazy. It was during COVID. Like, it was just like, holy shit. Like, that was awesome. That was real. You've been around music like that too, like where when you strip it down and it's acoustic or it's the raw shit, like nothing compares to that. So that's what we're gonna bring back, and get some of these guys that people haven't heard them do that. They haven't heard that side of it. They don't, because like that was what was so beautiful about Nirvana Unplugged, was when Nirvana came out. It was way before you were even born. You know, Nirvana was so hard. It was like when punk or heavy metal first came out. Everybody was like, what the hell is this? Like, they couldn't see past that. Guys were jumping around, screaming, breaking shit, breaking their guitars, you know, doing all this crazy stuff. They couldn't see past that. But then you get him whacked out on heroin, throw him on MTV Unplugged, hand him an acoustic guitar, give the guys set up all acoustic, and say, play your set. And these dudes sit there and do it, and they're like, holy shit, I've never heard the song like that before. Like, wow, that's beautiful. That's amazing. That's what I want to capture and bring back. So
give a lot of people heroin and just tell them to play.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like
That's
that.
a great business plan,
this
right?
Is a business idea, right?
Yeah, it's a business idea, 100%. You don't think it's a good idea?
No, I think it's a great idea. Yeah, you can keep a medical staff on the side. If someone gets close, give them not naproxen. It's a.
I'm not gonna ask why you know all this. So you trying to throw this on me, and then you're over here answering all these questions. Not sure what to say about that, Dean. I mean, we could start talking about like what music and movies you've not heard or seen, and I could totally go down that alley, because that's one thing, Biz. You guys gave me so much shit on that episode about movies I hadn't seen. Do you know that out of my 3 nephews from my older brother, the amount of classics, I mean, absolute classics, these guys have never seen? How many?
Just throw out movies. I'll tell you if I've watched them or not. Just throw out like 10.
Biz, go. Start in go late 80s, early 90s, and just name some classics.
We'll do simple stuff. Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first one.
No, I haven't seen any of them.
Star Wars.
You've seen
Haven't
the
seen
first
Star Wars. Haven't seen Star Trek.
Keep going.
Shit.
Keep going. How you feeling now,
The original
Dean?
1984 Poltergeist.
No, I've never heard of that.
You've never even heard of that?
No.
He's 22. Shit. The Goonies.
What's it about?
Damn.
See, I told you.
Wait. Gremlins.
No, but
Ewoks.
I've seen funny pictures of them. I haven't seen the movie though.
Kind of look like Baby Yoda, but just whacked out and
Yeah,
crazy.
I've seen pictures on social media, but just because they're like in memes.
Keep going.
Jesus.
Keep going. Oh, Dean, what, you can't handle the heat?
So what's a classic movie for you would probably be like the first Matrix.
Yeah, I've seen the Matrix series. Yeah,
Okay, so that's so we're talking about like 97 and on.
Have you seen Fight Club?
Yeah.
See.
Okay, Fight Club counts. That's classic.
Footloose.
No,
Top Gun.
not the first. I just watched the newest one. I didn't
My
watch
all-time
the first
favorite
one.
movie of all of all times. Martin Scorsese. Come on, what is it? Come on, what is it, Garrett? It's not the
I
guy.
know this too. I'm so bad at this. I've seen it though.
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yes. Yeah.
You have seen Goodfellas?
Wait.
Yeah, hey,
no.
good.
I haven't.
He's
I
not
was thinking
seen
about.
that. He's not
I was
seen
thinking
that.
about Reservoir Dogs. I think.
Okay,
that's
no,
what I
that
was thinking.
counts. That counts.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I love Tarantino, so I watched a lot of his stuff.
So you know Pulp Fiction, you've seen all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Okay, but see, that's more of a cult following that you will go back and look
Godfather.
No.
for. You've got to watch that. That and Goodfellas. You just got to just.
Sopranos.
No.
Entourage.
No.
Okay, well, hold on. Screw it. Let's go reverse. What is your favorite movie? Do you have one?
No, The Imitation Game was one I really liked a lot. It was like decoding the enigma during was it World War I or World War
Scarface.
II? Yeah, I think I've seen Scarface. Yeah,
See,
the one with
dude,
Al Pacino.
He gave
I
you,
saw that
I
one.
think,
So you
I've
would
seen
watch
Scarface.
more stuff like, damn it, what's his name that makes other like Tenet?
Yes, Tenet was crazy.
See, okay, yeah. All right,
That was crazy.
See, it's not about the classics. You got to find the type of person he is. Because when you just said the
All
thing
right,
about
DJ Biz.
just like,
DJ Biz. I don't even care where you go with this.
Well,
go
music?
music. Go music.
no, I can't.
Because I want to drop the mic on my brother right now. Yeah, this is messed up, Dean.
I think you'll do better than I, because my crates run so deep that it may even miss you on a lot of things. So you start first.
Rolling Stones.
No, they're a magazine to me.
God
Led Zeppelin.
damn.
I think I forced myself to listen to like half an album on a plane once.
And he said forced himself.
Yeah.
Genesis.
Phil Collins.
No,
Come on. Phil Collins.
Is it a car or a band?
Well, it's a church I go to, so.
Okay.
So no, but
Fair enough. Fair enough.
that was the first thing in my head. I'm like Genesis.
Genesis,
Oh, yeah. It's
what
a band,
chapter, what verse?
Sex Pistols.
No.
Rage Against the Machine.
The one popular song that they have.
Stone Temple Pilots.
No.
Nirvana?
Yeah.
Pearl Jam.
No.
Linkin Park.
Yeah, a couple.
Aerosmith.
No.
Limp Bizkit.
No.
Damn. Of course, Eminem. So we get on to the rap
Yeah,
stuff.
Eminem,
Yeah. M, Dre, 50, all that's easy. That's
Yeah.
too easy. Band stuff, I don't know. But you know what though?
Okay, Dean says he was born before 9/11.
I was born in 2001, so.
2001.
Oh, yeah, that's not. But you know what? No. But here's the crazy thing about
I mean,
that.
I'm going 90s.
But
so
no. But
I
here's
felt
something
like
that's
that was
crazy.
pretty fair.
You said Michael Jackson.
I don't actually listen to him though. I just
No,
know
but you
he's
know
a
who
great
he
fan.
is. You know?
Yes.
No, my son is 9, and
Yeah.
he
doesn't
is
know Michael
obsessed.
Jackson.
No, he's
Oh, he does?
obsessed. He can sing every Jackson. And Mike died way before my son was born, and he knows all of it. Like there's just certain things that like you said, you use Michael Jackson as an example, and you don't even listen. There's certain things that are just timeless classic that
Yeah.
will never go. Elvis, like these are things that will outlive all of us and never go away. So certain things do resonate, but that's fair to say. Being born in 2001,
I'm pulling up my Apple Music. I'm just going to scroll, and when it stops, Beastie Boys.
this is not fair.
No.
Oh yeah, I got Jordans older than him. That's fact. I have like 4 pair of Jordans that I had before you were thought of, and they're still in great shape.
I will
heard
never
one, huh?
forget that comment right there.
Incubus.
No.
Sublime.
Yes, but only because I like 2 songs.
Oh, from my crib, 311.
Notorious
311.
B.I.G.
Yeah,
311.
Amber was the song, right? Yeah.
Notorious B.I.G.
Just because there's 2 songs.
Tupac.
Just there's 1 or 2 songs. All the ones I say no to, I literally have not. I don't know a single song. I haven't.
Okay, so
I've heard Aerosmith, but I do, of the name Aerosmith, but I've never heard an Aerosmith
So
song.
when you get in your
I've
car
never
right,
heard
so when you get in your car right now, who are you listening to? If you had your personal choice, hit Spotify, whatever.
You don't
listen
want to know the answer to this.
Yeah, no, a lot of indie stuff like Bristol Maroney, Sampha.
Sampha, I know Sampha.
Yeah,
Creedence
he did
Clearwater.
Brothers with Drake. Heard the name, don't know the songs.
But like I said, once again, now we're
Don't they-
talking
wait,
about
don't have,
we're talking generational.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but how much did you ride around with your grandma, your mom, your dad,
And listen to all, that's why I'm so
And
old school because of the
B.B.
stuff
King,
that.
Eric Clapton, Stevie Ray Vaughan?
I know all those as great guitar
But see,
players.
but
that's all.
they're classics that we're talking about. Our parents, what would be the classics that would be considered to his generation?
So his
would be
dad
the
is
90s.
your age.
Did Pops ride around listening to all the stuff that we listen to?
I mean, I'm wondering I'm really questioning what he rode around listening to.
No,
What
he
did your
listened,
dad roll around listening to?
to-
Britney Spears, Christina
Yeah,
Aguilera.
that, listen to some opera,
Opera?
opera. What else he
So,
listened
so
to?
what opera did
He's
you
very,
get
your brother's very
exposed to?
cultured.
Bolicelli, Andrea Bolicelli.
Bolicelli.
See?
That's it. That's
See?
it. Yeah, I don't know. I really
Hey,
don't
some
know. what
people's
listen to.
dads ride around listening to shit like NPR all day and really
Yeah.
kill their kids in the car like that. So
He would just turn on the radio. He would just turn on 106.1 or whatever
and roll.
and roll. Yeah.
So you know who Kid Craddock is?
yeah. He
Okay.
died, right?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did die.
Kid Rock.
I know
What
the
about
name.
Judas Priest,
Hell no.
I know Dad really liked that brand, but
Kiss,
I know Dad liked the band.
Metallica?
I'm not stuff I listen to.
ACDC.
Names I recognize, not stuff I listen to.
I mean, it just,
Failure, failure alert, failure alert.
but it's not on you. We're not putting that on you. It's just,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just-
I just since my brother's on here, adamantly commenting, I wanted to just point
So,
your
You're
little
like,
thing
come
out.
on, man. Damn, come on.
I'm working on getting my nephews a little more cultured these days.
I'll say now, listening to, I tried to listen to,
Little Peep.
I listened to a lot of Lil Peep, X.
See?
That was that old stuff.
See, I can go
That's
there.
the old stuff.
I can hit stuff he'll hit. I took him to, you know what? He got to do something really cool. And literally, it was weeks before he died.
Yeah, within a month of him
Within
dying,
a
yeah.
month of him dying, he got into vinyl for a little bit and was trying to do some vinyl stuff. I took him to Bill's Records. he got to meet old man Bill, like literally a few weeks before he died. Like that, you can't do that again. Like old man Bill, that was one of the coolest old school record shops. I wish he could have seen the old school one on like Preston, Greenville Avenue.
I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Just the art of vinyl is just the art within itself. Because here's one thing that you'll never see again. A vinyl record, the album cover, how much work went into the artwork of just the album cover alone, because it had to say something, it had to mean something.
Had to stick out
and had
in
to
front
stick
of all
out.
of them.
All of that. I mean, album covers alone. I used to decorate my rooms, and I would buy 2 of every album so I can have one to put on the wall and one to put in my crate. Because there were certain ones. I got my butt kicked off because my mom was pissed off. Because if you ever look up, Google the Ohio Players, and if you look at any of the album covers, the outside is cool, but when you open it up, that was my introductory to like sexuality, because it was always some butt naked woman. Like one of the names of the album was called Honey, and she was But that was a work of art within itself. If you think about it, Kiss was just something, man, to go to a Kiss concert as a kid was mind blowing. Parliament Funkadelic had the same effect. Just it was funk versus Kiss, but it was just, it's like crazy.
I'll put this out there just since you brought that up, and because my nephew's on here, and I like doing things like this. So, the first joint I ever smoked in my life was with P-Funk.
Really, with George himself.
George himself.
And
First joint I ever smoked when I was 15 years old.
Oh,
how
15.
did that happen?
Without getting myself in too much trouble here. I don't see my mom on here right now.
Statute of limitations, you good now.
Yeah. Statute of limitations expired. So when I lived in Connecticut, my best friend's little sister, or his older sister, I had the biggest crush on. And she was the hell in that family. I mean, this girl was off the chain wild. She always dated older guys, all this crazy shit. She got really messed up into drugs. She took us to New York one night. We weren't supposed to go to New York. That's like a 30-minute train ride. We went to New York. And her boyfriend was the bouncer at the bar. He got both of us in. We were 15 at the time. And George Clinton and the P-Funk was playing. So I never experienced that. We got backstage hanging out, and this dude, I didn't even know what a joint was. They were passing this thing around, and I was like, cool, yeah. I didn't want to be the weird man out,
Yeah.
So I hit that thing, and yeah, I don't even think I got high the first time, but I was so on a high just from being in a bar in New York City and being around all that. Who knows? But yeah, literally, first joint I ever smoked, George Clinton and the P-Funk. Yeah.
The story. I don't know who P-Funk is, but
yeah.
Parliament Funkadelic. It is they're the children of James Brown. You can kind of say what made funk, but
I don't know who that is.
You know who James Brown is, though, right?
No.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
If you could see Biz's face right now, you'd know it's totally not fine.
Watch the screen.
Yeah, Dean, if you could see Biz's face, did you hear what Alex said? It's totally not fine.
Donna says ZZ Top. That's classic. Come on, ZZ Top.
ZZ
I know the name.
They all look like Garrett. Beards.
Except down to here.
Yeah,
I just know the name.
Boom.
The thing now is that because I'm so accustomed to the music that I listen to, I try to force myself to listen to the classics, classic rock, and those. And I'm just I don't like it.
But it doesn't resonate with you. That's fine, because it just doesn't. Everything doesn't resonate like metal music, and the guys that were screaming. I can't. I tried.
You two do have something in common though. His exhaust does sound a lot like your exhaust.
Oh, okay, good. It makes a lot of noise and pisses people off.
Biz got so mad when I got my new car that my exhaust was so much louder than his truck.
Oh, really?
He cut his pipes off. Literally.
Straight pipe. Coyote. Straight pipe.
It's ridiculous.
And when it starts up in the morning, my neighbors come outside and just be like, really? I'm like, sorry. It's not even cold yet.
This asshole.
Wait.
My street, I usually have to come uphill on the street, at night.
So you got to push it.
I feel bad.
You're gonna know who James Brown is when you get home. Just so you know, your mom's gonna make sure you get a little music education tonight.
Y'all literally watch the movie called Get On Up with Chadwick Boseman. That lays it out so sweet. You'll have a great appreciation for it. And so all the funk and all these other people we talked about, you'll see where they came from if you watch. And the movie is very entertaining.
All right, let's transition this. I didn't do this just to rip on my brother a little bit. Well, I kind of did.
did.
But
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
I
we
100%.
all
This is a
agree you
long-running
did. We
thing.
all
I
agree you
did.
did.
But where do you get inspiration for content that you create now? Like where does your inspirations come from? Like
just people
what
I like.
music, what movies, like where does this come from for you? Like where do you go to find inspiration when you're not, let's say it's a bad Alex day. Like, everybody has bad days. So when you're looking for inspiration, what do you go to?
Yeah, so this is the way I kind of think about it. So like the content is, so what I call like the content equation, you also call it the brand equation. You have the what, the content. You have this equation of why plus how equals what. Okay, so there's these two things, the why and the how, that put together create the what, the content. So your why is like, it's like the light. Okay, it's the reason why you do what you do. So like my why, I don't want people to feel left out. I don't want people to feel alone. I want to share like lessons that I wish I knew earlier on to other people. I want people to avoid the mistakes that I made. Like I have my reason for doing what I do. I have my why, okay? And you and I can have the same why.
Yeah.
What's different, what really changes is...
We actually do. That's what's really scary and weird.
The difference is, so you got like the light. Like we both have like this similar light, okay? The how is what I would call the filter. It's like the human filter that you as Garrett have, okay? So it's like if we take the same light that, the camera can't see it, but we take the same light and then we put your filter is blue and my filter is red. The same light is coming through this, but what comes out is a different thing. It's a different what. The content is different. So I'm having a bad day. Like I'm thinking about my why. Like why do I create content? Why do I do what I do? Because I want others to know they're not alone in what they're doing. I want others to know like I'm struggling to get out of this state. I want to help myself get out of the state. What can I share? Well, I can share, hey, I'm in this state and I've had a great month and I have no reason to be down right now. I feel down. I feel horrible. So I'm going to talk about that so you don't feel alone in that. I can talk about how I'm helping myself get out of this state. I can talk about my like why it's possible I could be in this state. Like I'm just like the way that I share those things, like the content that comes out is from the why and then my how, and my how is like where I get my inspirations from. Okay, so like the music I like, the kind of pictures I like symbolism. I like hard light. I like cinematic things. I like a lot of B-roll in the stuff I watch. And so this is where I pull from inspirations of like, I like this person's stuff, I like this person's stuff, I like warm colors, I don't like cool colors, I like there's all these different like what things that I like, right? It's like personality, flavorful stuff, and then the content comes out. So what would come out of me on a bad day? Like those sort of things, like here's where I am and here's how I am feeling right now, and yeah, I'm just like, that's how the content would come. Like I don't really have to think about the content. Like I really don't. Like I'm not like, what am I gonna create today? I'm just like, I want to create today. Okay. I'm just looking inside myself. Like it's less about like, this is why it's like the brand equation, like the content equation. It's less of like, let me create my brand, let me create my why, let me create my how, that way content comes out. Are you gonna create Garrett or am I gonna create Alex? Like no. I'm discovering my why. I'm discovering my how. Like it's a discovery, not a creation.
Yeah.
When you're personal, like it's a personal thing, it's a personal brand, personal stuff, like you are discovering, you are not creating. If we're about to make a business right now and like we want to make the next Manscaped, we want to make the next Old Spice, we want to make a lawnmower company, like whatever it is, you get to like you got a blank canvas. You can create whatever you want to create because that's like, it's an empty thing. We're all coming together as a team to make this. We can throw whatever we want up on there. There's no blueprint. There's no DNA of that thing. White, open, freaking blank canvas. If we're making Garrett's personal brand, you are not a blank canvas. Like you have your history, you have your past, you have your experiences, and it's about discovering what's already there and just, that's your blueprint, that's your DNA. Now how can we accentuate it? How can we like grow it? How can we make it like more pleasant to watch through social media? So yeah, I wouldn't think so much about the content as I would, I feel like creating content today. Now some days I would just be like bad and I'm like, I don't feel like creating content and that's it. And I may like muster myself up to go, I don't feel like creating content. Like I don't feel like creating content today. It's just one of those days. That's it. And maybe I don't even post that day. Maybe it's the next day. Maybe the next day I come back and think about and talk about like, yesterday I didn't feel like creating content. It was just a bad day. So, but it's the reason why I do what I do that comes through. So the other way I look at it is it's like, if you can get like metaphysical and symbolic with me, your why is like your spirit, your how is like your soul, and then the what that comes out is just a result. It's just the body. It's just the thing that it lives inside of, right? The why is so much deeper. It's so much more philosophical and like your reason for doing what you're doing. The how is just your personality. It's your soul. It's your mind. It's your emotions. So
Don't you wish you had this kind of understanding at 21 years old?
I don't have it at 51 years old.
I know, right? Like, it's sometimes I sit and talk with my nephew or nephews, and this is the kind of conversations we have, and it's mind blowing to me because I don't have kids, but holy shit. Like, as much as I can knock Dean for not educating him on some things, he's obviously done some things right. And look what these guys are doing. So,
yeah, a lot of sacrifice, like dropping out of school and stuff. Like, I would say I got my party phase like early. Like, I was throwing parties sophomore year, junior year, like went through all the drugs and stuff, and then I was like, okay, I'm done by like end of junior year. So then it was like, now what do I want to do with my life? Like, it wasn't like, let me go through college and years and past college, go to bars and stuff. Like, I got it all like knocked out of the way. Like, that's the way I kind of look at it. Is I knocked it out so early. I was like, okay, now I don't have the money to go to bars and do stuff either. So like, how do I want to live my life? And so, yeah, just like, I mean, what do you do when you like, you just read books and you just spend time watching it? Like, I don't know who said it, but it's like, I can see like this because I stand on the shoulders of giants. Like, not because I'm myself like there, but just because I'm just standing on the shoulders of giants.
man, clip that for his comment right there. All right. We're going to get to some deeper questions now, too. Just because I can't wait to hear what you're going to say.
What's your favorite color?
No?
And that's a deeper question?
No, like, all right, so how would you define and what's the difference to you between purpose and passion?
Oh, my passion is making music. My purpose is for someone to feel something through the music. I don't know. That's the only thing that comes to mind that I can like. That's just like off the.
And what kind of music do you make? Currently.
Right now, I really would just pick up a guitar and just kind of just go at it. Really, yeah. Nothing. I'm like not producing anything right now, just because I got to focus more on the business. And yeah, but in the past it's just more indie stuff, so more like drums, maybe a pad in the back, like a synth in the back, and then the guitar, and then like the creative like drop out of the guitar or like drop out of the drums or the long extended periods. Like those are the things I really enjoyed. Or like you hear like right before like the chorus, like all the sound cuts, like there's no sound for that, half a bar.
Yeah.
And making that moment, like the last words that were said, like be really big, and then the drop be bigger, like the drums pick up double pace, whatever it is. Like I enjoyed that stuff more than I enjoyed like incredible production and stuff flowing right, left, and I'm the kind of person that like the albums, like for instance Logic's The Incredible True Story album. That album was less of a music album and more of like it's obviously an album, there's music, but it was like a story, like start to finish. They're like on a ship, like trying to find a new planet because Earth had been destroyed, and so they were trying. So like through this album, there's like 4 or 5 interludes of like the story and what's happening. Each song is kind of like related to like them arriving in a new place or doing a new thing or discovering something. So like I love that. Like I love like a story being told through an album. Like if I were to drop, when I know that when I do music, it's not gonna be an album. Like you're never just gonna like Alex dropped an album, Alex dropped a thing. It's gonna be like a short film combined with an album, combined with an experience, combined with like clothing and NFT or whatever it is that goes with it. Like I don't ever want to just drop like a thing. Like I want to be able to make an experience out of it.
Do you listen to rap music at all?
Not now, just because.
Do you see the DNA? I mean,
well, the reason I said that because 2 people
used
did
to.
that exact thing, and it was amazing. Well, one was it's a rapper named Logic.
Yeah, Logic. Yeah.
Logic does that storytelling and a lot of.
Well, that's the same Logic, The Incredible True Story.
Oh,
that's
you did
the
say.
album.
That's okay.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Logic is like, and then what's the name? Mad City. Come on.
No.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yes, yeah, K-Dot, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar's album Mad City was a story from the very beginning about going to see a girl all the way. Even at the end of the album, they got saved.
Chance the Rapper.
Chance goes crazy.
Same thing.
I love Chance's story. Him and his manager, like they moved into an apartment together, and they're like, we're gonna make this work. Him and his manager moved together, and like that's all we're doing. It's like we're both gonna work jobs to pay rent, but we're gonna make.
He's self-made. Happen. He doesn't even like. He's not even like.
You ever notice cats like that are the most humblest in the game?
Yeah.
Cats like that are the most humble in the game.
Well, Logic ended up doing a book, right? So he literally wrote a book, and then the main focus is the book. And then he created a soundtrack for the book. So, like, you'll see in the book, like, hey, play this song. Like, this is the album that accompanies it. So now we've entered this new world. Play this song as you're listening to
So the album you're talking about is the one with Rick and Morty? The voices of Rick and Morty, I think, are the ones that...
I'm going there, Tammy.
The one I was talking about with Logic is the Incredible True Story. So it's like
that's the one before, because you know he did Logic and then he has his alter ego, the Bobby
Tarantino. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so the one before, I think.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. So
that's your mom. Super Mario. He's got the Super Mario song in there. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So your mom just made a really cool statement, which is where I was kind of about to go with this. So your mom just said music was a metaphor to describe the difference between purpose and passion. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to you? Because I was going to ask you next. So if music is your passion, but you're doing all this creator stuff, which also involves music.
Music is one of
the creator's factory. Where's purpose and passion lie there? Is it the same? Is it different?
Yeah, purpose. So if I look at, passion. Like I enjoy when it comes to business. Passion. Like I love to see things done in excellency. I love to see things just done really well. Like someone went above and beyond, and like I look at something and I see like, dang, they did that like well. Like they spent time on that. So like I love seeing things that are like systemized, like efficient, like processes are smooth. It's like a oiled like car just functioning just beautifully. So like passion wise, like I love to see something work so well when it comes to business. So then the purpose though behind the Creator's Factory being like I want the people who are like Michael Jackson to be able to not like stop and not like just die off and end up dead in a garage, you know. I want to see them actually like I want to see them impact the world. Like we put it on the website, and I'm Christian, so there's a lot of things that like the root of it is like I want to share like more love with the world. I want more people to see Jesus, like that whole thing. We haven't like included that so much in like the about or the bio of the business, because we're like, okay, we could just go like this is how to grow as a creator if you're a Christian, but it's like this is how you grow as a creator in general.
So you would limit yourself if you did that. Like as passionate as you can be about that.
Well, I also think that if I were to
it also is it's a word that scares people sometimes.
Exactly. So if I were to limit it to Christians too, then the people who would have been impacted by the way that we do things in our excellence, like by the way that like the community that they would have gotten into, like we would have excluded the very people who we want to include the most. So
help.
Yeah, exactly. Like purpose-wise, like I want to help. Like, and kind of a secular level, I want to help like amazing artists, amazing creatives be able to understand the business side. And on a deeper level, it's like I just want to like if I can help a pastor or someone reach 1 million people instead of 1,000, well, I want to do that. Like, so that's like at a deeper level. That's where it all starts for me. But
all right, so here's a question from the audience. I'm just gonna go with this. So, would you take on or coach anyone? Any creator, regardless of their product, persona they push, represent them?
No.
Or...
We already declined some people. Just because, like, if you're, like, an OnlyFans model, like, I don't want to help you, like, enslave more people to pornography. Or, like, have them... Like, if you're just, like, promoting something I don't want to promote, like, that's the advantage of
being the owner.
Yeah, being the owner, being a capitalist country where you can just, like, there you go. Like, I get to say no. So... Yeah. There's people that will reach out to me, and it's unfortunate because I have some friends like from my past and from like my drug days and such that reach out and like, bro, can you help me grow? Like, I know like saw what you do with Hannah and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, bro, we can sit down sometime. Like, I love you. Let's talk. But what I usually see is they don't follow up, or if they do follow up, I'm like, I really don't want to help you grow. Like, I don't want to help.
Yeah, you can't have any passion behind that because they're still not in the right place.
I don't want to help. I
You know,
can't put my
it's
all into something
awesome
I don't
that
believe
you've
in.
learned that at such a young age, because we all have those friends that, you know, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself by. And if you surround yourself by people that are better than you build your team, you put people around you that are smarter than you,
Mm-hmm.
your potential is limitless.
Yep.
But if you let certain people back into your life, or you let these people leech back on, it can cause you a lot of heartache, headache,
Poisonous, yeah.
and you know, much worse. I mean, there's certain people in your life, like, I mean, I have some true great friends, but they're friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, these are people I grew up with, but they still do the same shit. They are still trapped. They are still standing in those same wading boots, you know, like stuck in the mud.
It's true.
And they think, you know, they have every excuse for why they're still there. They, you know, life was unfortunate. They're not lucky. They're XYZ. They have a million fucking reasons why.
1,000,001, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 1,000,001. Like,
So
I couldn't
true.
say it better. Like, but they're always stuck like that. And if you start letting those people back in your life, or you start hanging around them again, you can instantly feel that being just sucked out of you.
And when they ask for help, you're not, and you're like, oh, bro, I need some money, or I need a place. Like, it's very, like, you can very clearly see the difference between someone who's like run into an unfortunate situation
And
they're
genuinely
going to
needs
jump
help.
off their feet the minute they get some help. And even if you didn't give them help, they would still jump off their feet, just be a little bit slower. Versus
Yeah.
someone who comes in and anything you do for them, anytime you give them, is just enabling them.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, they're just repeating a pattern, and you're the next person that, like, you're the next victim, really. So, yeah, it's no good.
Biz.
This is
Told
the,
you.
This is the way. So I was listening to, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. The pastor of the church I go to is talking about the difference in the words that the Bible uses for love. So, like, in the English language, we just see the word love. Like, that's it. For God so loved the world. Like Peter, we just see the word love. And what we don't see is that in the Hebrew, there's 4 different words. And the main 2 words that are used are agape and philia. Agape is the word that for love that's used. It's like a holy God's love for us. Like, it is an unending, no matter what you do, no matter who you are, God loves you endlessly. You can never lose, like, God's love for you. There's another word that's used, and it's the word philia. This is like a friendly, like, close connection love. So when I deal with the people that come back to my life, like someone reaches out, like, bro, can you help me grow? Like, I know that I'm called to agape them, to love them in like a like godly sense. Like, I will never, like, it's kind of like hate the sin, don't hate the sinner.
Yeah.
And so, like, I want to help them. Like, I want to see the best for them, and I want, like, I'm going to love them, but it's an agape love. And so loving them doesn't mean like, yeah, bro, come into my house and just take all my food and take all these things. Like, that's not actually like God's love. And so, I don't know. I feel like a lot of times, like, we feel so responsible for other people that come into our life,
Yeah.
or like that come back asking for things, and we are called to love them.
Yeah.
But
No,
love isn't enabling.
I read a
Not
book.
everyone can be a friend, and that's philia.
A good friend of mine that I actually introduced you to earlier. If he's still here, I'll let you sit with him for a little bit. Hopefully he has some time. But Ben Daly is a good friend of mine up here that I introduced you to. Ben's actually a pastor at a very big church, and he gave me 3 books, man. And you know me enough now that, like, me diving into that's a little cold water for me.
Yeah,
A little cold water for me. So
ice cold.
yeah, ice cold water. It's cold plunge. So I read his latest book. It's called Grace.
Who's it by?
Ben Daly.
Oh, it's by him?
It's by him. He's got 3 books out. I'm starting the second one, which is called Limitless.
Mm-hmm.
Limitless, from what he's told me, and him and I haven't got to sit down and talk about this yet, just because I've been traveling and had some other stuff come up. But him and I are going to sit down and talk about this. Grace is an amazing book, and he talks about the grace that God gave all of us, and enjoying and appreciating the grace. And That's all I'm going to say about that for now. But Limitless, from what he's told me briefly, is Limitless is where he was ready to give it all up, man. Like, he was at his end. Like, he felt like he had done everything. He had, poured his life into trying to love God, trying to love Jesus, trying to find a way. And, he just couldn't get there. He still had all those days where he hadn't found the grace yet. So it's kind of like Star Wars, which I know you haven't watched, where he starts from the back and you go backwards. He had me read his current book and I'm going backwards. So I'm interested to see why he did that now after reading the first one. But yeah, I think you two would vibe a whole lot, man. Like, because you've had a talk with me several times, and I hope you don't mind me bringing this up or mentioning this, but like, there's a mentor in your life that is very close to you that has taught you a lot, and I think has really guided you well and helped you along your journey. Maybe you want to say a little bit about that? I mean, how far you want to go? I mean, that's up to you.
Yeah, because I could go really far. I feel like I'll go here. There were, I grew up in the church. There was, I've gone to public school, I've gone to private school, and I felt like public school was almost easier because private school was so, cliquey and the groups are so tight and all these things. And I started to ask questions, at private school, hey, what about crystals? Hey, what about tarot cards? Hey, what about this? What about that? And, the teachers looked at me and called me out, and it's that's satanic. How could you ask questions about that? And so here I am at a private school where where teachers and those are supposed to be pulling you towards God, and instead I'm being separated from outcast from, and all I'm doing is I'm just asking questions because I've just seen these things. I've just
yeah, you're naturally very, very inquisitive.
Yeah, I'm curious. Just yeah. So there was a woman in my life, and then there was a man the mentor, and both of those were the only times that it was these two people. I looked in their eyes, and there was this they talked about God, and it was similar to other people who talked about God. They talked about Christianity, and it's similar to other people that talked about Christianity. But when I looked in their eyes, they had it sounds so cringy and they just had this sparkle for life. They had this joy for life. They had this love for life that I was you can't fake that. You just can't. And when they said things, it wasn't they were debating them or academically trying to place them before me. Yeah, they were just this is true. That's it. And I could see 100% in their eyes it was true. But here's the crazy part is it wasn't yeah, it's true, God loves you. It's not it's true. My friend was paralyzed. Someone came up and said, you've been paralyzed since you were 17 years old. They put their hand on them and they said, God's healing you right now. And then they walked and never used a wheelchair from then on. And I looked in their eyes and I saw how true that was. And I was this isn't possible. There's no way. There's just no way. That doesn't make any sense. And so, yeah, I've had a mentor who, I actually see him tomorrow. I'm really excited. But he just opened up and just kind of shared things that, and it was really just the love that I experienced from him, but it was God through him that just changed my life. And yeah, I couldn't have asked for more. But just as I've grown in my journey, it's just been me seeing impossible things. There was one time I had a dream that was I had a verse in my dream, and then that same exact verse I had three different occasions the next day. It was it was on the back of a truck. It was a person came up and said hey, I was just thinking about this verse and thinking of you. And another thing, it's there's these small instances where that built my faith of there's just no denying, there's just no debating that. But yeah, it was my faith was initially built on seeing God through mentors, seeing God through others. And that's that's why we have family in our life, parents in our life, to be able to see I got through them as well. So.
Oh, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you found that in your life and that you have that. It's obviously done you well. It's led you down some good paths.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got fun stories there.
Yeah,
trying to give like the abbreviated, like not the like seeing spirits or like seeing people like healed from and seeing people like phase through. Like there's crazy stuff that like I know we have like no time left, but.
Yeah, but I mean, it's all important to recognize. I mean, you haven't taken the easiest path. People have beat you up for the choices you've made at times. I admire it. I didn't go to college either. Mm-hmm. I did graduate high school, walked the stage, did all that. You did yours a little differently.
Yeah, I dropped out.
You've chosen your path, but man, I can't be prouder of you or happier for you. Like, I know you're on the right path, man, and I love you. And
love you too.
Man, I'm super stoked. I'm glad you came on the show and did this because
this is fun. I was nervous, but I was like, this is scary. Just gotta go get it.
Yeah, man, you just get to sit back and talk, man. But like, you shared a lot of really good knowledge with people, man, and I really thank you for that because I said earlier, like, our purpose and passions are very aligned. Like, they're very similar. Like, I see so much of me and you when I was your age. It's kind of freaky and it's really weird. I mean, it's as freaky as all the stuff is with your dad. And, for those of you that don't know that story, I'm going to tell that really, really quickly because I've been told we got to get off the air here really fast. But, I'm going to save that story because I'm going to bring Dean on here really soon. And I'll share
that'll be good.
Story.
Coming soon. You just got a cliffhanger.
Coming soon. I'll bring the old man on here and tell that story. But, to know after your dad passed that you had a half brother or sister that was out there and that you'd probably never find them. And then to find that piece of your family.
And they're like 15 minutes away from you.
And they live 15 minutes away from you when they were born in Ohio and adopted at 3 days old. And, and to know the journey and the struggle my dad went on, your grandfather, to know what he went on to try to find you guys and like everything else, like, and then to find out that like we walked in circles for years within a 5-mile radius and then to find you guys, like that's just, I mean, it's amazing. Like I'm going to save that story. That story is coming out. I will have my brother on here soon. We're going to do it. Maybe we'll bring the tattoo guy. We've been talking about getting a tattoo together. Do you know that? Your dad and I have been talking about. We were supposed to do it with TJ, but he already went ahead and got his.
Dang, of course TJ did.
Of course TJ did. But, so we got to end the show with the same thing we do every time on Common Sense.
Yeah.
So.
Kissing?
Whoa, bro. Whoa.
Whoa, bro.
Come on.
Whoa.
You see what I had to put up with? Y'all feel what I have to put up with? Anyways. All right, man. Here it is.
Yeah.
So it's Common Sense Podcast.
Uh-huh.
We share a lot of common sense, knowledge, help people not make the same mistakes. So microphone is yours. Not that it hasn't been all day, but you get to share your 2 cents. Like this could be your 2 cents of advice. It doesn't have to be about shit we talked about already.
Yeah.
It could just be something weighing on you, something you want to share, something you feel inspired to share, you want to say. It's literally can be about whatever. Like, but you get to give us Alex's 2 cents.
Yeah. You want to shave before you get in the shower? Because if you take a shower and then you shave after, what happens is like you realize like I should have shaved before because then you've like gotten clean and you've shaved. Now you got like shavings all over you and then you're like, dang, like I need to shower again. So just make sure you shave like before you get in the shower.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is the most classic 2 cents we have had in 2 seasons. Classic.
I don't even know what to say about that. I'm like speechless about that.
There you go. There's your 2 cents.
All right, we got to bounce. I hope you enjoyed this show. This show is near and dear to my heart for a lot of obvious reasons, but as y'all can see, I have a brilliant young nephew that is doing a lot of positive things. I want to encourage that, obviously, but I think y'all got to learn a lot from this show. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Next week, we're going to have a comedian on here. First time we've ever had a comedian. Well, technically, by trade, profession, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
We're going to have a comedian on here next week. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week. Until next time, peace, love, and happiness. Y'all be good.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.